The purpose of these lessons is to show you the logic behind the most basic Chinese characters, beginning with the simplest pictograms, and later combining these elements to create more complex characters. Today's lesson includes 6 characters, all of which are related to the pictogram for woman. Our first character is the basic one, showing a kneeling woman facing left with arms crossed on her lap. As can be seen in various Eastern cultures today, kneeling is often preferred to sitting. Anyway, from her original kneeling position, the woman gradually transforms into a standing position, but with arms and hands still crossed in front of her or on her lap. From there to the modern form is quite a leap, because her body has become one horizontal stroke, while her crossed arms now face downward. This character is pronounced third tone, nu, nu. Again we have the French and German u sound, pronounced e with rounded lips, u. Some easy expressions with this character are woman, 女人, 女人, sons and daughters, 子女, 子女, and a girl student, or simply a girl, 女生, 女生. In our last lesson, Lesson 16, I mentioned that during the May 4th movement in 1919, Chinese language scholars decided that the all-inclusive pronoun ta needed to be differentiated to show masculine, feminine, and neuter gender, just as in English, he, she, and it. The radical for a person was added to create ta for humans, and the original snake, ta, was retained for things. Another scholar repurposed an obsolete character for sister as the third-person feminine singular pronoun she and her in today's lesson. No distinction is made in pronunciation, so all third-person singular pronouns, male, female, and neuter, are pronounced ta in Mandarin. For example, she lost her handbag. 她的包包丢了. This could also be translated as somebody lost her handbag, depending on the context. Our third character in today's lesson is an especially useful one, a woman embracing a child. You'll notice that the woman and child have reversed from the oracle bone version, but the woman is still written the same in modern form. Pronounced third tone, 好, 好. This is also a split sound character, pronounced fourth tone, 好, 好, when it means to be especially fond of something or activity. A possible example would be 好古, to be fond of anything related to antiquity or ancient objects. The third tone variant, 好, is much more useful, diverging from its original depiction of maternal love to include anything which is good, fine, delightful, or pleasing. 好看, good-looking, visually pleasing, and its opposite, 不好看, for ugly. To express perfection, 好日子, a fine, auspicious day, one's wedding day, or happy times in general. Anything perfect has been brought to completion. It's finished. 土地看好了, the property or piece of land has been inspected. The inspection is complete. From perfection and completion, the meaning becomes fitting, proper, suitable, often added after a suggestion. 好不好? Is that okay? Is that all right with you? If something is suitable, it's also convenient, enabling you to do something else. 他坐下，好看书. He sat down so he could read, or he sat down in order to read. And finally, 好 is used simply to express the idea of very much. 她去好久了. She's been gone quite a long time. Even in English, we could say, she's been gone a good while. Notice the two uses of the unstressed particle 了. 去了 meaning she left, a finished action, and 好久了 meaning a change in the situation. We weren't concerned before, but now we're worried. Maybe we should call her and find out what's holding her up. I have arranged the different connotations of 好 to show the possible sense development, some of which mirror the different senses of the English word good. The fourth character in today's lesson is composed of the kneeling woman radical plus the mouth radical that we saw in lesson 15. This character is pronounced second tone, 如, 如, and basically represents a woman listening to and following a spoken order. From this idea of following a command gave rise to the literary meaning of actually going to a place. You might find this rather formal usage on a sign in a public lavatory. For example, please wash your hands after going to the toilet. Unfortunately, there are too many unfamiliar characters to display this example now. More common and more useful, however, are the abstract uses, such as this example, 如日中天, reach the zenith of one's power or the pinnacle of success. Literally, like the sun at high noon. 如 means like or as here. Another example would be 书名如下. The book titles are as follows, or as listed below. The opposite expression, as above, would be 如上. In English, a performer arriving on stage during a television variety show will often applaud and praise the previous act, saying, "Now that's a hard act to follow." This is a humorous and humble way of saying, I hope my performance will be as entertaining as the one before. The Chinese expression 不如 is similar in that it means one person cannot follow another. 他不如太太. He's not as good as his wife, or he can't compare it to his wife. Literally, he cannot follow his wife's performance. And finally, an order or command cannot be executed until after it's delivered. So another important usage of 如 is to indicate a supposition. In other words, if my order is carried out as I expect, something should follow naturally. This is a common way to express if in Mandarin, in conjunction with another character that we haven't introduced yet. Have a look at the possible sense development of 如. The fifth character in today's lesson is composed of a kneeling woman and the ideogram for a growing plant, meaning to produce or give birth. It's pronounced fourth tone, 姓, 姓, and means one's family name. It's a vestige of the ancient matrilineal society that existed in China 1,000 years before Christ, and also before Confucianism. Confucianism relegated women to a lower status than men. Remember that in Chinese, the family name always appears first. So, Mao Zedong, surname, was Mao, and Xi Jinping's family name is Xi. This way of indicating a Chinese person's name, therefore, is family name plus given name. Xing Ming, Xing Ming. And to make an introduction in Mandarin, you would say, his surname is Bai, ta Xing Bai. The final character in today's lesson depicts two hands encircling a woman's waist to indicate where the body narrows between chest and buttocks. Later, the person was changed to the woman radical that we see today. This character is pronounced fourth tone, yao, yao, or sometimes first tone, yao, yao, with a slight change in meaning. It's another split sound character. The original idea was waist, the narrow part of the body between our ribs and hips. From there, the narrow part of the human body was extended in meaning to include the narrow part of a road or mountain pass, where a wanted person or enemy troops could be intercepted with little difficulty. Why would it be necessary to intercept a person on their journey, blocking their passage before they arrive at their destination? Obviously, we want something from them. This gave rise to the first tone, yao, meaning to demand, threaten, or possibly even to invite, depending on what characters are paired with it. Much more useful, however, is the fourth tone pronunciation, yao, which also derives its various uses from the original idea of intercepting someone. This person is important for some reason. So one way to say VIP, very important person, in Chinese is 要人, 要人. When paired with 重 from lesson 10, meaning heavy or weighty, we have the phrase 重要, meaning important or necessary. This is an example of two characters with similar meanings being juxtaposed to avoid ambiguity. We also have a second example of 好, meaning very. Recall too that be verbs, am, are, and is, are usually unnecessary in Chinese, especially with adjectives such as 重要. Now let's go back to our narrow mountain pass. We obviously intercepted this person because we wanted something from him or her. This is another extended meaning, to want, desire, to need, with nouns or verbs. For example, 她不要, meaning she doesn't want something or doesn't want to do something. Now for a side note about English grammar. W-I-L-L, will, simply means to want in English. So to do something willingly or unwillingly means you want or don't want to do it. It logically follows that something you want is something you don't currently have, which means will was borrowed to express future action or intention. English has no future tense, so we resort to will to solve the problem. The same is true in Mandarin. Yao is used to express willingness and to express future action. For example, 她早上要走. She'll leave in the morning, or she's leaving in the morning, meaning, obviously, tomorrow morning in this context. We said in lesson 7 that the character 是 literally means true, in full daylight, clearly true. With the addition of our newest character, 要, we can create an important phrase indicating supposition, 要是, meaning if. This is clearly true. This being the case, then something follows. This is a logical extension of blocking your way at that mountain pass. We will release you on certain conditions, if you comply. For example, when someone asks whether an appointment time is convenient for my friend or not, I could reply, 要是在早上, 他一定不去. Notice that 是 is unstressed in this phrase, 要是. Review this summary showing the likely sense development of 要 and 要. Here is our color chart with today's 6 characters. 女, 她 for females, 如, 性, 好, and 要. To fix the characters in your memory, copy them onto colored sheets of paper as suggested in previous videos. Blue, green, pink, yellow, and white. Underline any homonyms and circle those characters with more than one pronunciation. So, what have we learned in today's lesson? 1. The basic character for female is a kneeling woman with arms and hands crossed on her lap, which produces combinations such as 女人, a woman, 女生, a girl, and 子女, sons and daughters. 2. The third-person singular pronoun for she and her is also pronounced 她, but with the female radical. 3. The combination of a woman and child is the character 好, which has a variety of meanings. Fine, 好日子, an especially auspicious day. Good, 好看, good looking. Suitable, 好不好? Is that all right? Is that suitable? Convenient, 他坐下, 好看书. He sat down in order to read, to make it easier. Completion of an action, 土地看好了. The property has been inspected, or simply to say, very much. 她去了好久了. She's been gone a good while. 4. This same combination woman and child, when pronounced fourth tone, 好, is used as a verb to show that one is very keen on or quite fond of something. For example, 好古, to be fond of anything related to antiquity or ancient objects. 5. By adding a mouth next to the kneeling woman, we have the ideogram for complying with an order, giving rise to several abstract connotations, such as according to, like, as if, and suppose. 6. 如上 means as above. 如下 means as follows. When used in the negative, 不如, it means you're unable to execute an action as well as someone else. Literally, your act cannot follow theirs. 7. The kneeling woman next to a growing plant, 姓, is the ideogram for one's family name, indicating that ancient China began as a matrilineal society, but changed after the adoption of Confucianism. Also notice that the family name always precedes the given name in Chinese. 8. An important pictogram showing a woman with hands on hips, emphasizing her waist, is the character 腰 or 腰. This narrow waist idea was borrowed to show the narrowing of a road or mountain pass, where a person or army could be physically intercepted for some reason. This gave rise to many abstract meanings, such as first tone 要, to demand or threaten. 9. Fourth tone 要 means to need, to want, and can also serve as an auxiliary verb, such as must, should, or even future tense will. 她要走了. She's about to leave. 10. When paired with 是, we have one way of indicating supposition, 要是, meaning if this is true, then something follows. This is a logical extension of obstructing someone's passage until certain conditions are met. The original idea of 要, meaning a narrowing of the road. Now you will find a short quiz on double, triple character, and longer expressions. Answer using only the characters learned so far. Thank you for watching and listening.